Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. I'm just an average player in World of Warships Legends. And you're here on my channel, the home of the slightly above average ship review. Now we are doing a comparison video here, but we're doing it a little bit differently. Normally when I do a comparison video, I'm comparing either a premium ship to a premium ship or a premium ship to its tech tree counterpart, showing you why that ship is better or worse. Here, I was asked by one of my newer subscribers, Killer Frog Gaming, to do a comparison of the Clash Horn, the Tier 3 Pan-European Destroyer, and the Shenyang, the Tier 3 Pan-Asian Destroyer. He or she also wanted me to compare the Tier 1s and 2s. I'm sorry, Killer Frog Gaming. I would do a comparison of Tier 2 premium ships, but I am not going to do a comparison of Tier 2 tech tree ships simply because finding enough matches to do that will be challenging. I just don't know if there's a lot of interest in a tech tree ship comparison in the traditional manner where I cut the screens and show you head-to-head what the differences are. I thought the better way to do it would be to take these ships out into battle and show you in back-to-back games. There's no cutting here. I played the Clash Horn match, and I immediately went and played the Shenyang match to show you what you're going to get out of these ships. Now, I don't remember what this map is called, but we are down tier. The Shenyang game, interestingly enough, was also down tier. So you're essentially facing the same scenarios. Now, this is a capture of the base match. Does that make a little bit of a difference? Yeah, it does, because in a domination match, destroyers can get points merely by capping the bases. Alright, so if you didn't watch my original Clash Horn video, it is a Pan-European destroyer. It has low damage torpedoes that reload pretty quickly, and it only has 3 guns. So my advice to everybody at that time was use the concealment commander with this ship and spam torpedoes every chance you get against the enemy ships. And in doing so, you'll make up for only having 3 guns. You'll make up for the low torpedo damage by cumulative damage over time from shooting so many torpedoes. Alright, here we've got an enemy ship, the Visby. I believe that's the Tier 4 Pan-European Destroyer. It is the Tier 4 Pan-European Destroyer. Are we going to engage the Visby? Perhaps. I am not looking for a confrontation because this ship and the Visby are both torpedo spammers, in my opinion. I'll try to link the videos up there for the Pan-European and the Pan-Asian playlists because I've reviewed them all. So here's the Visby. He's getting a little too close for comfort. So we're just going to start shooting. There is another destroyer between us and him, so I feel I can get away with it. You saw that initial splash did pretty good damage. Is it the best damage? No, but we did set him on fire. I think you have an improved fire chance in these guns. We are going to peek at that after the game. We're not going to look at full-fledged stats, but we're just going to peek at it. Alright, we're being spotted by somebody, maybe by somebody I can't see, another destroyer. There's a Phoenix over here. I would love to launch at him, but instead we're going to cut back against these rocks and go after the Visby some more. Now, the enemy ship, or the fellow blue team ship, pardon me, is a Minakaze, which has pretty strong AA, but it's a Japanese ship, so it doesn't have strong guns. So I don't blame the Minakaze captain for getting out of the way and creating some space there. You need that space to get your torpedoes out sometimes. So as the airplanes come in, torpedoes are in the water. We set the Visby on fire again. Look at this lengthy reload. Don't mistake the Clash Horn or the Visby or the Tier 5 ship that I can't remember at the moment. Don't mistake those for gunboats. They are not gunboats. The reload is too long, and putting Swirsky in there as the commander won't lessen it enough to make a sea change of difference, in my opinion. The Visby continuing to take damage. I don't think he's really honed in on us where we're at. So we're going to come out here, salvo number 1, take him down to the very nub, and we are going to turn, get torpedoes off, and by that time we've got our reload kill number 1. We finish off the higher tier ship, the Visby. I don't think he ever shot at me once. So that's a scenario where this destroyer is going to excel at, where you've got a destroyer commander worried about someone else. You use that opportunity to pile up some damage. All right, here's the aircraft carrier. I would really, really, really love to be able to get in torpedo range to fire some torpedoes off at this guy. I believe it's a Hosho. And so we're just trying to get into range to be able to launch them off. Now you can see, I believe that is still the Minakaze on the far left-hand side of the screen. So we're in torpedo range. We are going to turn and torp. But these torpedoes aren't really that fast. And so we are going to look at the Hosho. We're going to shoot at the Hosho. We're going to imagine our torpedoes smashing into the side of the Hosho. We're setting the Hosho on fire. We're like, this is going to be awesome. We're going to get a torpedo strike. He's going to sink. It's going to make the duck honk noise. And we're going to get a kill. And everything's going to be great if all that stuff happens as planned. But I think he slowed down or started to maneuver there. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, also, if you look up at the screen, in addition to all our torpedoes missing, the other destroyer is right up alongside him, and he is going to make sure his torpedoes don't miss in an epic kill pinch because everybody else had shot that guy. Anyway, he finishes him off, so we are denied that kill for a number of reasons. Now, our team is beating up the red team pretty badly. You've always got to take that into account when you're looking at a ship's performance after the match. We're not really called upon to do a lot of stuff here because our team is beating the crap out of the other team. So maybe I should have played another game. I don't know. You can yell at me, Killer Frog Gaming, if you want a proper review, and maybe I will be motivated enough to give you one. But I just thought seeing the ships in action is going to do a lot more for you at this point than seeing numbers on paper, especially when they're both in the same scenario, a down tier match, because that's how you know how strong a destroyer really is. For example, if I took a Kamikaze, do you really think a Kamikaze, a tier 4 destroyer, could compete at tier 6 or tier 7? Is it possible that that might be able to happen? I think it is pretty possible. I don't think the Yukikaze would have a problem competing at tier 8 or legendary tier. You know, so when you're a torpedo boat that relies on concealment, you can do a lot. And so this ship is relying on concealment because we do have the concealment commander, Stig Hansen, in here. And the other ship that we're using is also going to be using a concealment commander. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. So they do have a lot of similarities. They're both very fast. They both have good concealment for destroyers. They both aren't necessarily gun focused. But the big difference is here that the Clashhorn has got these really, really low damage torpedoes that reload quickly. We just haven't had a lot of people to shoot them at, you know?
Torpedoes, direct front.
And so neither of them have good AA either. So that's just another data point to keep in mind when you are comparing these two ships. Do I like the Clashhorn? Yeah, I like the Clashhorn. It's definitely a destroyer that's going to be meant for someone who understands how to use torpedoes. There we launched torpedoes into a smokescreen against a stationary opponent, and we were able to take him out because of the spread that I used to shoot the torpedoes. Here we've got a reload coming up. We are launching out, and oh, I thought we could have gotten a kill, but the match ends there. I think someone may have capped the base. Anyway, we ended up with just 16,000 damage. Don't be unaccustomed to low damage games. 2 kills. We do end up second on our team with 1141 base XP and those 2 big kills in the Clashhorn. I think we could have more if that match had gone on a little bit further. So here, just looking, maneuverability, 41.2 knots, concealment, 4.5 in the surface. Your guns, you just have 4 guns, and they've got a lengthy reload, lengthy turn time. very low damage torpedoes, good range, and they reload quickly, but they aren't going to be the primary damage makers. They're going to get that damage through flooding damage to your opponent. Now let's look at the Shenyang. Doesn't have any more guns, doesn't have a faster reload, but does more alpha strike. Torpedoes way about double the damage, almost double the damage. Maneuverability almost as fast, or faster, pardon me, maybe not as maneuverable other that, and definitely more concealable. Here's why. Take a look at our commander. Base trait gives you some concealment. We got fully max Swirsky, fully max buy, and we are using fragile threat in row number 2. So essentially this is a quadruple concealment build, and this is a big advantage over any other ship. Now, however, the other thing to keep in mind here is that the Shenyang is restricted to deep water torpedoes. You cannot use your torpedoes in any Pan-Asian Tech Tree ship against a destroyer because they are deep water torpedoes. They go underneath the destroyer because it doesn't have enough ship under the waterline. I think that's called maybe the beam or the draft or something like that. Anyway, the destroyer doesn't sit low enough in the water for the torpedoes to contact the hull. So that's why deep water torpedoes can't be used against other destroyers. All right, so here we are on this map. It is a different map. I think this might be the Atlantic or something like that. We are down tier in the Shenyang. So again, we're in the same scenario. We're down tier, it's a capture of the base match, and we're out here in our tier 3 destroyer just trying to get it done. So in the Shenyang, my goal is to engage enemy destroyers with my guns and use these deep water torpedoes against those slow moving battleships. Sorry, the map name is New Dawn. Alright, so there's only 3 destroyers. Izakazi, G101 Clemson. There's an aircraft carrier in this match as well. So aside from being a different map, this is really the same scenario that the last game was played in. It was just totally RNG luck at the draw. But I hope Killer Frog Gaming and anyone else watching this, that this gives you a good idea of what you can do in these 2 destroyers and a comparison by way of gameplay. Alright, so here we're moving out in the Shenyang. I really like these Pan-Asian destroyers, but I don't play them that much because of the deep water torpedoes. You know, I often use torpedoes against enemy destroyers, so I play the Yanshan a lot, I play the Loyang a lot, but these Tech Tree ships, I don't think they're very popular because people like big damage numbers, and unless you're getting hits on big ships, you can't get any damage numbers with the torpedoes against another destroyer. So this really favors the Shenyang and the other Pan-Asian destroyers, at least in my opinion, in a match against one other destroyer, meaning the enemy team just has one destroyer on it. So you're not doing a lot of destroyer v destroyer combat, because in those combats you're going to be at a competitive disadvantage because you cannot use torpedoes, at least in my opinion. All right, here I thought about doing a skinny launch, wide launch at the Tejas, also known as the Texas. We are just going to back up and let him keep going a little bit before we launch our second set of torpedoes. That way, if he gets away from the first set, we will hit him with the second set. We check another ship over there, I think maybe an Izuzuchi, and we'll launch the second set at the Izuzuchi. All right, here you can see the spread is a little too wide, but we do get at least one torpedo strike and flooding on the Texas. And here's the enemy destroyer. This is a Clemson. Now, I feel pretty strongly that we could beat a Clemson in a gunfight, but I am not looking to be detected at this point in time. So right after saying that, I'm immediately going to start to fire my main battery. I am really probably at this point just trying to set him on fire and scare him off, I guess. Distract the Texas driver. I mean, who knows what I'm trying to do. It's hard to explain my activities here. All right, so that second set of torpedoes totally missed the Izuzuchi, so we will line up more torpedoes with the Texas. Got to get it right on, and now we have to brake because we're about to run out of the island And here's where that enemy Clemson commander probably could have hurt me pretty badly if he had followed in on me and not ran away. And so we will put up a smoke screen partially as a diversionary tactic. Hopefully the Texas commander has his eyes on the smoke screen and not on those deep water torpedoes heading his way, which are also extremely stealthy. Well, we do hit him with a bunch of torpedoes there, and we launch another set of deep water torpedoes his way. We'll continue driving out of the smoke screen, and we're just going to see what happens there to the Texas. So right now, I'm sizing up the, is that a Suzuki? It looks like it is a Suzuki. Maybe I should get my super magnification glasses on for aged people and tell you what the screen says. We'll put them on. It did not really improve anything at all. All right, the Texas is hurting pretty bad. You know, he's probably going to die. He's out of torpedo range, so we're just going to let somebody else kill him. I am not greedy. You know, we did launch at the Suzuki. We are going to see what happens there. And they got another couple battleships over there without a lot of health. So we'll just see what happens. You know, I'm a wait and see kind of guy. All right, so I waited and I saw nothing happen. So we're going to start to actually go after these ships. Now, keep in mind, just based on our torpedo strikes to this point, I already think we've clearly exceeded the damage of the Clash Horn. Again, the Clash Horn's torpedoes don't do a ton of damage. You're counting on accrued damage over time through flooding. We just didn't get a chance to use our torpedoes a lot. All right, but we did have 2 kills. Probably a 3rd kill if that match had gone on. I like to say I would have killed that cruiser in the previous match if it had continued, but it did not. All right, so here, because I am a man who does not know the meaning of the word fear, we are engaging the Texas with our guns. As you can see, that slow reload, we are doing damage. You know, we do set them on fire. Other torpedoes coming in. You know, all I wanted to do was set them on fire and have them start accruing damage. We are going to get a little closer and launch another set of torpedoes at him. And we will continue to engage him with our guns, but we are not going straight at him. We're not trying to knock him out. You know, if these torpedoes hit him, great. If they don't hit him, also great, I guess. I mean, whatever. But I think he's going to help me out by turning into the torpedoes, which I don't get that. But there was a time to turn into the torpedoes, but it was right in the beginning. So, yeah, we take him out with the final torpedo strike. All right, and again, if I mentioned this before, let me mention it again. Deep water torpedoes are especially stealthy, okay? So the Clash Horn's torpedoes reload quickly and do a little bit of damage. Your torpedoes do a ton of damage, and they're very stealthy. So that's the differentiation between the torpedoes. All right, so I launched some torpedoes at the Suzuki, but I found a much better target. A charging aircraft carrier. I never understand why these guys do this, but I'm more than happy to take advantage. Get ready for some hijinks, folks. We are about to torp out 1 rack, and we don't kill him. I think we just hit him with 1. He damaged Con right away. So hilarity ensues as I unlock the high caliber medal for Lord knows what. I wasn't even shooting at him. He's trying to ram me now. I am just all caught up in my own incompetence. And so we're just going to ring around the rosy and go around the other side of him. Thankfully, we already have a reload. And we're going to hit him right in the nose and finish him off with a devastating strike. All right, kill number 2 in the bag in the Shenyang. All right, so as you can see here, our team is down, just went down 5-3. And so at this point, I'm thinking to myself, I'm already in the cap circle. There aren't any enemy ships that I know of near me. Maybe it would be better if I just stayed in here and forced them to come back to defend the cap circle. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now I'm continuing to drive around in the cap, mostly because that aircraft carrier has spotter planes up in the air, and I want to engage them and kill them. As you can see, the red team continuing to kill the blue team. Maybe I should have been a good player and gone out there and tried to kill more ships. I mean, as you can see, we're over 100,000 damage, having a whale of a game at this point. It's entirely possible if I had gone after those ships, I could have had over 200,000 damage in this match. But it's also entirely possible that I could have been killed right away and our team could have lost the match. And I play these games, make no mistake, to win the matches. Okay, winning is the most important thing in this game for me, because I only win about 53% of the time. So we're just going to hang out here in the cap circle. We shot down the spotter plane. We are now in relative obscurity. The red team is moving into our cap circle. They are going to be damaged here and there by my teammates. And so as a result, their cap will get reset, or our cap will get reset. The cap I'm in, obviously, is not being reset because nobody's shooting at me. Sorry, had to get a little life water in there. pH balanced. It's got a very nice mosaic of colors on the bottle. So yeah, we're just chilling out here in the Shenyang. So you saw torpedoes do a ton of damage, able to use them against a variety of non-destroyers. The one destroyer we could have fought, he didn't want to come fight me. Could I have beaten him in a gunfight? Probably. But at the end of the day, he chose not to engage me, and so we ended up not fighting him. You know, we took out the Texas, and we took out the aircraft carrier, and that's really all we needed to do. Now, I wish they had killed my other teammate here, because we could have gotten a solo warrior. But instead, when the enemy destroyer comes to the cap, he sees me. Maybe he didn't get his turrets turned around in time. I don't know. But I just threw up one of my smoke screens. You do get 4 smoke screens in these Pan-Asian destroyers. And so they're kind of a hybrid, and they allow us to hide and win the match. All right, Milestones here. Here we are on the victory screen. High caliber medal, devastating strike medal, over 100,000 damage, 11 torpedo strikes, 2 kills, 1 solo base cap. And we ended up with, I would say, significantly more ship XP and commander XP. And we're going to end up not second place in this match. We're going to end up on the top of the board. And we got around 800 more base XP. So just in 2 random matches back-to-back, Clash Horn, Torpedo Spammer, Shenyang, Deep Water Torpedo Boat, GG to the Texas, who had 4 kills. That's my comparison. I hope you enjoyed it, Killer Frog Gaming. That one was for you.